wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. Christine Leahy's joining me for hour 2. In 45 minutes from now, don't go anywhere. We have the word association game. We're calling it the Herd Association game. A lot of fun. Want you to play. Don't go anywhere. Going to be good. The Herd Association game in 45 minutes.
This is the one where you the 3-word thing?
No, it's different. It's a whole new crazy game. You can play the game as well.
Oh, all right. Cool.
The Herd Association game.
Why are you having a sly look on your face?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You're going to...
Okay. So this is interesting. I drive into work this morning and I watch Undisputed. That's the show before ours. And they've got the story. I didn't even know this was a story. It's a very interesting story. They talked about it for some time. I think it's interesting. Pat Riley now admits in his new book, LeBron did the right thing when he left Miami. As I said last hour, and I'll probably talk more about next hour, it's funny how we celebrate mobility for everybody in the world except LeBron. He leaves, he's a bum. Everybody else, oh, Bob got a new job. Susie got a new job. Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees, awesome. Ohio State got more Texas high school football players, awesome. We love Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, they could be Yankees. Yeah. LeBron's leaving? That is outrageous. That is a sign of weakness. Whatevs. Pat Riley comes out in the book and says, my beautiful plan all of a sudden came crashing down. That team in Miami, 10 years, could have won 5-6 titles. I get it. I get the whole chronicle of LeBron's life. While there may have been some carnage, he did the right thing. This is interesting. Pat Riley is the godfather of the NBA, the Nick Saban of college football. He was a player. He won a title. He was an assistant coach. He won a title. He was a head coach. He won 5 titles. He was an executive. He won 3 titles. Player, assistant, coach, executive, title. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 titles. He is Belichick with more power. He's Saban with more power. He is the Godfather. LeBron enters his life, gives him 2 more rings, leaves. He has never recovered. And they have signed a series of really bad panic contracts. This is why I laugh when LeBron isn't the MVP. The Lakers won titles before and after Magic, before and after Kareem, and before and after Shaq. The Celtics won titles before and after Bird. And the Chicago Bulls, the first time Michael Jordan left, were still exceptional. LeBron twice has decided to leave a team, even one with the league's godfather, and they are in shambles years later. Miami is still in the Eastern Conference. Really, just a well-coached team without many good players. We celebrate mobility with everybody but LeBron. Dan Gilbert, the billionaire, came back to Miami on his knees in a restaurant. 3 hours recruiting and begging LeBron to come back and apologizing for what he said. The billionaire admitted, my bad, I was wrong. Pat Riley is the godfather of the NBA. And is now acknowledging, yeah, he was right, I was wrong. And you don't think he's the MVP this year? Okay. As great as Michael was, he wasn't this powerful. As great as Magic, Bird, Kareem, Shaq, they weren't this powerful. Kevin Durant's better than LeBron. Oh, come on now. You want me to seriously believe you and buy into you when you say stuff like that? Pat Riley runs this league and has for 25 years. He admits now, I need LeBron way more than LeBron needs us. Let me shift to this. I saw an article yesterday by a capable writer, Bill Barnwell. He works at a company I used to. It was a long article, one of those like 20-pagers. Like not one of those bathroom articles, like one of those you got to sit down and make a commitment to it. And every day I am hearing that the Cleveland Browns want a new number one quarterback. They can't decide who it is. The article by Bill Barnwell, the title is History Tells Us the NFL is Just Terrible at Evaluating Quarterbacks. I think that's a totally overplayed narrative. Now, he goes down to list quarterbacks first taken and the best quarterback eventually in that year. I actually am going to go the complete opposite way. What his article said is, look, in a 20-year period from 98 until 2007, we'll just take that stretch. The first guy taken wasn't the best quarterback very often, although sometimes he was. Folks, the reason there are more busts, or at least discussed, at quarterback, the NFL is actually very good at quarterback. They really are, and I'll prove it to you, is because quarterback is a Powerball lottery ticket. The payoff is so huge that teams are willing to take more risks. The best player in this draft, the absolute surefire, can't-miss prospect, is a guard from Notre Dame, Quentin Nelson. I've talked to 2 GMs and 3 directors of scouting, and they have all told me there is 0 chance outside of an injury he's a bust. But he's an offensive lineman. And nobody writes articles about offensive linemen 10 years later getting coaches fired. The quarterback position, the narrative is the NFL can't figure it out. The NFL doesn't know what they're doing. It's bust after bust after bust after bust. Number one, we just write articles when a quarterback busts. There have been twice as many linebackers who were drafted and failed, twice as many linemen offensively drafted and failed. You don't write articles about those because they don't get head coaches fired. But here's the other point. The NFL actually does a really good job at quarterback. Last year, playoffs. Look at all the quarterbacks who made the playoffs last year. Ben Roethlisberger, Blake Bortles, Alex Smith, Mariota, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff. Let's count Carson Wentz because he got him there. They're all first-round picks. Yes, Brady's an outlier. And Case Keenum was undrafted, though anybody could have won largely with that roster. On average, over the last 10 to 20 years, of the 12 teams that make the playoffs, 9 to 10 have first-round quarterbacks. And if it wasn't for Tom Brady, who skews the thing every year, it would overwhelmingly be first-round quarterbacks. Let me give you, I'm going to scroll for our television viewers, great quarterbacks. I'm going to scroll on the screen all the big-name guys that you know to be amazeballs, guys like Bradshaw and Troy Aikman. I'm going to list Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You can see them right here. God, these guys are great. Len Dawson, John Elway, Otto Graham, Terry Bradshaw, Bob Greasy, Bobby Lane, Dan Marino, Joe Namath, Y.A. Tittle, Steve Young. Oh, they were all first-round quarterbacks. There's this narrative out there that the NFL can't figure out how to get quarterbacks. No. That quarterbacks, especially now with all the rule changes, are so valuable, teams are simply willing to risk more. Josh Allen is going to go top 10, Wyoming. He's not a top 10 football player. You wouldn't even consider drafting him with his skill set as a guard, a safety, a Mike linebacker, a tight end. He will be overdrafted because of the position he plays. Just like you have no chance to win Powerball. But every time it gets up to $400 million, you buy $50 of it. You overspend on it because the payoff is so enormous. The rules are so offensively driven, and the payoff is so great if you get the right guy, teams overdraft the quarterback. But overwhelmingly, when you watch on Sunday, and you watch dynasties, and you watch great teams, throw Brady out. They are overwhelmingly first-round guys. Yes, there's an occasional Drew Brees in the second, Russell Wilson in the third. There are outliers all the time. Did anybody that writes for The Economist, the leading economy magazine in the world, did anybody predict Jeff Bezos, who opened an online bookstore, would be the most powerful man and the richest man in the world? No, but they knew he was smart. They didn't know his drive, his heart, his passion, and nobody knew Brady's. But there's a narrative out there that the NFL can't figure out the quarterback. Most of the great ones on TV on Sunday did not go undrafted, even though half this league is undrafted. Did you know that? Half the league's undrafted. Half the players in the league are undrafted. Yet overwhelmingly, the best quarterbacks are all first-rounders, with few exceptions. History doesn't tell you the NFL's terrible at evaluating quarterbacks. Half the league is undrafted. What it tells you is they're not real good at drafting other positions. In recent years, they've become exceptional at drafting the quarterback. Here's what, coming up next, I cannot wait to play word association, herd association game. Plus, Rob Parker's freaking out. Here's why I'm a big fan of Simply Safe Home Security. They're prepared for anything that gets thrown at them. Created by college kids who got robbed and couldn't afford a home security system. They created Simply Safe, and now 3-4 years later, they've upgraded it. If a storm takes out your power, Simply Safe still works. Intruder cuts your phone line, remarkably, Simply Safe Security works. They destroy your keypad or siren. Simply Safe still gets you the help you need. Maybe it's overkill, maybe it's not. But that's what makes Simply Safe Home System so great. It's always ready. Could cost an arm and a leg? Doesn't. 24/7 protection, and still just $14.99 a month. We recommend it to anybody who listens. Go to simplysafecolin.com today, COLIN, to protect your home and your family. That is simplysafecolin.com.
God created